Hey guys, Dennis from DC SuperShine here. We are talking about some high strength discs today. Basically, they're like a Scotch-Brite pad. I have two versions here, so I have a much stiffer and coarser grit. This is close to a 180 grit. And then I have a much softer and smoother grit, so this is more like a 600. Now, I use these mainly for two reasons. Number one, on diamond plate that's a little bit more rough. I'll use this to clean up the diamond plate first. You can use an SOS, or you can even sand diamond plate as well on the edge of your sander. But these tend to save a lot of time and do a great job. On front rims as well, instead of taking your rim off, you can use these Scotch-Brites to get between the lug bolts and the rest that's pretty rough and clean it up first before polishing. Now, the softer one, the 600 grit, you can use it straight up, you know, right on the aluminum and polish right after, and you don't really have to worry about any sander marks. If you're going to use the more coarser ones, these are more like a 180, you'll be able to remove the sander marks by polishing, but it's going to take you some time and quite a bit of effort. So if you're going to use these, I would suggest a little bit of sanding or light sanding, or using the 600 after as well. Now I'm just going to show you how I mount these. I usually use two at a time because one on its own is a little bit flimsy, especially on the 600 ones. So I'll put two together. And what I'll do is, these are just my normal aluminum flanges. I also have a steel flange here. You can use that as well. So you just pop that on first. You can twist these on. Sometimes they just slide on as well. And then I just push in the center with my thumb a little bit here to expose the threads. So as you just keep twisting a little bit, you're gonna expose a little bit of the threads. And then I just use my smaller flange. You can just tighten it up by hand. Make sure they're nice and tight. And that's it. And then what happens is I'll keep using them. Like, I'll use these on rims, and then on steps or diamond plate, once they're used up a little bit and they're a little bit small, these start to get a little too small to fit between the lugs on the rims. So I'll just use the smaller ones, and you can just go as far as your flange here. So sometimes you'll have a little bit of pad left over that you can still use up. So I just use smaller flanges. So I just put those underneath. Just dismount it. I can show you if you want. And you just put your smaller flange and you mount it on the same way. You could use a smaller flange on newer pads as well. It just makes it a little bit more flimsy. So if you want a stiffer pad, you just use your bigger flange. One thing I also wanted to mention is when you're doing steps with these things, you might want to reduce the RPM a little bit, closer to 2200, 1800, because it'll chew up your pads extremely quickly. Depending on the steps that you work on, like Peterbilt steps are a little bit more ragged edges, so I turn down the RPMs on those. On Kenworths, usually I just leave it at 3500 RPM. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it very much. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like me on Facebook and on Instagram. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below. I hope this helped a little bit, and we'll see you next one.